Your phone rings from a number you do not recognize. You let it go to voicemail because unknown numbers are usually spam, bad news, or someone extremely interested in your car's extended warranty. A minute later, there is a message. This is an attempt to collect a debt. Please return our call regarding an important personal business matter. Your stomach drops before you even know whether the call is real. You start wondering how much they want, whether they can take your paycheck, call your job, or make everything worse if you do not respond immediately. That fear is why people make one of two mistakes. They call back and agree to something just to make the pressure stop. Or they avoid every unknown number for 6 months and hope the debt quietly gets bored. Neither should be your first move. If a debt collector calls, slow everything down. Do not immediately pay. Do not confirm the debt before you understand it. And do not give a stranger your bank account, debit card number, or full social security number. Your first job is not to solve the debt during one phone call. It is to verify who is calling and what they are trying to collect. I'm Evan, and this is Evan Gets It. Money questions for adults who feel like they missed the class. Today we are answering, a debt collector called me. What do I do first? This is general education for people in the United States, not legal advice. State laws and individual situations can differ. Here is the first thing to remember. A phone call is not proof. The company may be legitimate and the debt may be real, but someone knowing your name or address does not mean you should immediately trust them. Personal information gets sold, transferred, and stolen all the time. So ask for information instead of giving information. Write down the caller's name, the company's name, its mailing address and phone number, the original creditor, and the amount they claim you owe. Then say, I'm not agreeing that I owe this debt. Please send me the validation information in writing. You do not need to argue, explain why money is tight, or tell a stranger that you might be able to borrow something from your sister by Friday. Debt collectors generally must provide validation information during the first communication or within 5 days. It should identify the collector and creditor, explain the amount claimed, and tell you how to dispute the debt. Until you verify that information, do not provide sensitive financial details. If the caller asks you to confirm personal information, say, I'm not comfortable providing that over an incoming call. Please send the information to the address you have on file. Then end the conversation. You are not refusing to deal with the situation. You are refusing to make a financial decision while a stranger controls the clock. Urgency is powerful. When someone says you must pay today, your brain stops asking useful questions. Is the company legitimate? Is the debt mine? Is the amount correct? Was it already paid? Could it be identity theft? You cannot answer those questions while someone keeps asking, what card would you like to use? When the written information arrives, inspect it. Check the original creditor, account, balance, dates, fees, and payments or credits shown. Compare it with your records and credit reports. Sometimes the debt is real, but the amount is wrong. Sometimes it belongs to someone with a similar name. Sometimes a payment was never credited. Sometimes a debt changed hands enough times that the paperwork looks like it was organized by a raccoon. Official-looking paper does not make every number correct. Scammers own printers, too. If you do not recognize the debt, believe part of it is wrong, or think you already paid it, dispute it in writing. If the collector receives your written dispute within 30 days after you receive the validation information, it generally must stop collection activity on the disputed debt until it sends verification. Keep a copy and proof of delivery. Certified mail with a return receipt is one option. Also create a simple folder for every letter, email, statement, receipt, voicemail, and note. Record the date, time, number, caller's name, company, and what was said. You are not creating a detective wall with photographs and red string. You are creating a record in case the story changes later. If calm, normal person money explanations like this are useful, subscribe to Evan Gets It. Many financial situations feel terrifying mostly because nobody explained the first step. Now, what if you verify the debt and it really is yours? Verification does not erase legitimate debt. It makes sure you are talking to the right company about the right amount before money changes hands. If you cannot afford what the collector requests, do not agree to a payment that sacrifices rent, food, electricity, medicine, or transportation to work. A payment plan you cannot maintain is not a plan. It is a future missed payment wearing a tie. Say, "I've reviewed the information, but I cannot afford the amount you are requesting. What payment or settlement options are available?" Ask whether there is a payment plan or lower settlement. Most importantly, get the full agreement in writing before paying. The agreement should identify the debt, state exactly how much you will pay, list the due dates, and explain what happens to the remaining balance. Do not rely on, "Don't worry, I'll put a note on the account." Notes mysteriously disappear when another employee answers the phone. Be especially careful with very old debts. Every state has a statute of limitations affecting how long a lawsuit may be filed to collect certain debts. The length can depend on the state, type of debt, and agreement involved. In some states, making a payment or acknowledging an old debt in writing can restart that clock. Learn the rules that apply before making a good faith payment during the first call. Old debt does not automatically disappear, but a rushed payment can change your legal position. Now let's talk about what collectors can and cannot do. Federal law prohibits abusive, deceptive, and unfair collection practices, and a few of those protections are worth actually knowing before the next call comes in, instead of finding out after the fact that you had them all along. A collector cannot threaten to arrest you over ordinary consumer debt. They cannot pretend to be a government agent or an attorney if they are not one. They cannot threaten legal action they have no real intention or right to take. They generally cannot call before 8 in the morning or after 9 at night unless you have agreed to it, and once you tell them your employer does not allow calls at work, that has to stop too. There is even a rule about how often they can call you about one debt in the first place, generally no more than 7 times in 7 days, with a required pause of 7 days after an actual phone conversation about it. Collectors also generally cannot discuss your debt with friends, neighbors, co-workers, or most family members. They are allowed to contact someone to help locate you, but not to announce that you owe money while they are at it. If someone threatens jail, uses obscene language, repeatedly calls to harass you, lies about the amount, or tells your co-workers, document it. You may submit complaints to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Federal Trade Commission, State Attorney General, or another regulator. A consumer lawyer attorney can explain whether your rights were violated. You can tell a collector that certain times, places, numbers, or communication methods are inconvenient. You can also send a written letter telling the collector to stop contacting you. But stopping communication does not erase the debt or prevent a lawsuit. And that brings us to the one thing you should never ignore: real court papers. A scary call is not the same as a lawsuit. A letter saying your account may be reviewed for legal action is not necessarily a lawsuit either. But if you receive an official summons or complaint, respond by the deadline shown. Ignoring court papers can allow the collector to win by default without the judge hearing your side. A collector generally must sue and obtain a court order before garnishing ordinary wages or taking money from a bank account. Contact a consumer law attorney, nonprofit legal aid organization, or your state bar's lawyer referral service. Even if the debt is wrong, paid, or too old to sue on, do not assume the court will discover that without your response. So let's return to the original phone call. You do not have to solve everything while someone waits on the line. Get the caller's information. Ask for validation in writing. Do not provide sensitive financial details. Check whether the debt is legitimate and accurate. Dispute errors promptly. Keep records. Understand the debt's age. Only then discuss a payment you can afford. A debt collector's urgency does not have to become your emergency. The call may still make your stomach drop. Knowing your rights does not make an unknown number relaxing. But now the fear has somewhere to go. It goes into one calm sentence. Please send me the validation information in writing. Then you hang up, breathe, and deal with facts instead of pressure. If this helped, subscribe to Evan Gets It. And tell me in the comments, before today, what did you think you were supposed to do when a debt collector called? Pay immediately, argue, or pretend your phone had suddenly stopped working? Because adulthood is expensive. But it gets a little easier when you know what to do next.